Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you guys back to the Top 5 Podcast, hopefully your favorite new Eagles podcast. My name is Chris Blades, and unfortunately, come here a little less jovial, a little less happy than I had been the past couple weeks. Obviously, we were riding a 2-game win streak into this game, and unfortunately, as you already know, in this game, that is not the outcome that they had. Like the outcome was not the same as it's been the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, this was a very tough. I know some people take it as embarrassing, some people take it as sad. I don't know if I go that far because again, this professional team is not like they lost to like a 1-win team. The Giants did have 3 wins. Now they have 4. In the Eagles came coming to this game only had 5 wins. It's not like they were some sort of dominant team. Like I said, the Bills losing to the Jaguars. That's embarrassing. This is just bad. Like it's just a bad loss. And I think that's the better word for it is bad. And like, again, is this a team that they should have beaten? Yes, obviously. On paper, they were the better team, especially with the injuries that the Giants had on offense. Like again, granted, the offense wasn't good in this game. That's not the reason why they won. But still, a situation where this was a game that was there for the Eagles to take, and unfortunately, they did everything they could to screw it up. From the beginning to the end, it didn't really matter. And that's when you end up with the result of 13-7 Giants. New York Football Giants for the W, and unfortunately, like I said, the Eagles pick the loss and fall to 5-7. And this is a game where a lot of the blame is going to go on the offense. A lot of blame. Again, this is a situation where when you're the quarterback, you get too much of the credit when things go well. You could argue, and too much of the blame when things go poorly. This is a situation. That is a situation I should say that Jalen Hurts finds himself in, where again he was not great in this one. You could argue maybe the worst game of the season for him. Probably the worst game of the season. The only games I really compare is the Bucs game. He was not good in at all. And the Panthers game, he was pretty bad in as well, but they were able to pull that one out. Some people kind of gloss over that, even though he wasn't this bad. This is, I think, only the second time this year he's had multiple turnovers, definitely multiple interceptions. He only had, I think, 5 coming into the game. So he hadn't really been turning. That was the one thing he had been doing well, was not turning the ball over. And you get to today. Not today. You get to Sunday, and that was not the case. 14-31, 129 yards. Like I said, 4.2 yards per attempt, not great at all. 3 interceptions, even worse. Like I said, a passer rating of 17.5, a QBR of like 17. It was just not his greatest. Again, still going on the ground at 77 yards. With his legs, but through the air, he was about as bad as he's been at any point this season. And that's probably why they lost. Now, again, we will get into what happened there at the end with Jalen Reagor, and that being a pretty crucial part as to why they lost as well. But like I said, if not for Jalen Hurts being as poor as he was through the air in this game, maybe Jalen Reagor drop doesn't even happen because they're leading and that doesn't even matter. Like I said, obviously that's not how things went. You can't play what ifs, woulda, coulda, shoulda, all that stuff. But like I said, what happened is Jalen Reagor dropped 2 touchdowns at the end. But also what happened is Jalen Hurts was bad for 3 quarters and like a draw, and like he's basically bad for almost the entirety of the game. Outside of, like I said, he made some good throws there on the last drive specifically, to get them into range where they could have scored a touchdown to take the lead there at the end. They didn't. It's unfortunate. But yeah, like I said, Jalen Hurts, probably his worst game of the year. Running the ball wise, though, I will give them credit. They were still good, even though obviously some of the talk after the game was like, oh, they didn't run the ball enough. They didn't run the ball enough. And like, I get that in certain circumstances, which we will get into, or certain, in terms of certain plays and play calls they had. I get that. But overall, like I said, you run the ball 33 times for 208 yards and a touchdown. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what more do you want from the rushing attack? Like, you want them to, and again, I understand they've been running the ball 40, 50 times a game recently. That's not sustainable. Like their efficiency and like the yards per carry, things like that, like how good they've been on the ground, that's sustainable because their O-line is good. Now, again, we'll see what happens when Nate Herbig has to go in there. Potentially, again, we'll see who's out there Sunday against the New York Football Jets. But with Driscoll going down and Brandon Brooks not being back yet, Herbig will probably be out there, and obviously he had his own struggles in this game. But, I mean, he's still a big guy, should be able to move some people in the run game, you would think.